All right. Hello, everyone. Steve Walters here, and we got Steve Harper.
Hi, how are you?
And welcome to today's office hours presentation, where we're going to answer your questions live. With that said, Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm good any day that I wake up in the morning.
What a great outlook on life. I dig it. Well, what do you say we get started, Steve?
I say jump right into it.
All right, great. Okay. So first of all, what you're seeing on your screen is our a little slide there. So go ahead, if you have any real estate related questions, send them to questions@straighttalkacademy.com, just like what you see there. I'll leave this, oh, there we go. There's my screen. So I'll leave that up for you. So go ahead and send your questions off, and then we'll get started with our first one.
We had a question emailed from one of the clients, Gregory, one of the folks that's going through the program. I think we should start with that particular question, Steve.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'll read it out in its entirety because it's a multiple part question, and then we'll kind of break it down.
Okay.
All right. So Steve, I need help. I am about to list two 12,000 square foot Class A office buildings here in my county. How do I market these to corporations or government buyers outside my state? I'm in West Virginia, but I'm 75 miles west of D.C. I use LoopNet to market, but how do I market directly to downtown D.C. and Baltimore prospects? I need ideas how for prospects to find here in northern Shenandoah Valley. Thanks. I am enjoying your courses, and I've been a realtor for 21 years.
Well, I think the first thing I want to say is thank you for being a realtor for 21 years. That is actually you've been a realtor, Greg. If you're on more years than I have been a realtor. I'm just shy a few years from you on that, but I appreciate your time on that, and I appreciate the fact that you're a realtor. I think this just goes to show that the average realtor reaches out for education and growth. It's just kind of part of our DNA. I think that's an excellent thing. So in regards with the question, first I would say, Greg, I would like to know if these two 12,000 square foot office buildings are stabilized. I would like to know if there's a lot of vacancy or if they're stabilized, because if they are indeed stabilized, heck, I might have some folks that are interested in them beginning, depending upon the cap rate they're being offered at with regard to, cap rate versus purchase price or as an investment type property. To be clear, when we're talking about marketing and a building like this, because I'm not certain if these are vacant buildings, if they're completely stabilized, or what the story is there, but they sound very nice. So you've got two different people that you're going to be reaching out to, or two different targets. You're going to be either reaching out to an owner investor, or an owner, or an investor. It's going to be an owner or an investor. I apologize for my tongue tied right there. With regard to how you can market those, LoopNet's good. When you say LoopNet, I'm hoping that you're also using the reverse marketing tool that you can go into as part of LoopNet, where you actually send an email out to folks. And if you are not familiar with that, when you go into LoopNet, you look at My Listing, you can actually market the listing. And what it does is LoopNet keeps track of everyone who has done a property search in a given period of time that matches the criteria or closely matches the criteria of your offering. And it allows you to put it directly in their face. Even if they've looked at your listing before, it actually shows them that it's available and it highlights that listing. So the first thing I'd like to say is when you're using LoopNet, let's make sure that you're using the reverse marketing tool, where you can actually go to My Listings. You could then go to Promote, and Promote will bring up a drop-down menu.
So let's just, so I just switched it to the screen. So we just logged into LoopNet. We went to My Listings up at the top right.
Okay.
And so this will show your different listings. So you just go to Promote.
Yep.
And then you've got a few different options here. So you could do, let's scroll down here if you can scroll.
Steve, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
is Greg Graham. I'm the man that sent you the email.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing real good, Steve. Yeah, I just got up and you started going over my question. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm here.
Well, let me ask you, Greg, since we've got you on the line, is this property stabilized from an investor standpoint, or is it something that also needs to be filled up?
It needs to be filled up. All 24,000 was rented by the Coast Guard for multiple years.
Okay.
And they built a new complex and moved out, which was a government entity. Part of about 4,000 to 24,000 has just signed a new lease this week, but we still have about 20,000 vacant.
Okay.
So he's asking $17 triple net on it.
So I got to
is
tell
the
you.
rent.
Okay.
An absolute triple net.
Excellent. The absolute triple net is obviously going to make it attractive. So then this is either an owner-user or an owner-user investment, or specifically a sole investment. And if it's being, and you can market it in all of those ways. And as a sole investment, this is an upside opportunity for somebody that, that can build value by adding those leases. So
well, and what happened here with this office space is the Coast Guard invested about $120,000 worth of cubicles, internet, phone jacks, wiring, you name it. They did it and left it. That's our federal government for you. That's our tax dollars for you, sir. About $120,000 worth of TI done to the buildings.
Do you use the email campaign or the reverse marketing tool in LoopNet yourself right now?
No, this is the first time I've heard of that, Steve.
Okay, so Steve, go ahead and read through it. Go down to, if you're looking at Steve's screen right now where it says View Prospect List, you would click on that, and we'll see what's come up on ours. So right now, we keep up with ours. If you look at the 3 tabs across the top, I'm just going to show you 3 principals, 5 brokers, and 295 emails sent. If you look at the 295 emails sent, it will show you that we have sent people emails, and it shows you the date. And what it does is it sends those people who have done a LoopNet search that have something that matched basically the criteria of your offering, and it puts it right in front of their face. So that is another very important clue. It does break it down by principal or broker, an agent, or other members. Right now, there are 3 principals that have not been emailed. So right now, if I was in order to do this, let me just take care of this, and I'll just drag this out of the way here a little bit. All you have to do is scroll down and make sure everything's checked. We've got 2 undisclosed and 1 person that's saying they're a principal from RE/MAX at Valley Associates here. Email prospects is all I have to do, and it's done. They have now received a 1-page flyer on that property. I'm going to then go back up to my listings. I'm going to go back down to that listing that we chose. Steve, which one was that?
That was the top one.
That was okay, so it was this 10-unit multifamily. I'm going to go back to promote and back to view prospect list now. And I'm going to go ahead and select on the 5 brokers and other members. These folks are going to receive an identical 1-page flyer on this property by the push of a button. And now you'll notice that when we go back into that particular area under promote and view prospect list, now my 295 has been raised to 303. You can do this on a daily basis, a weekly basis, but I have to tell you, we are very, very diligent about doing this. And there are many people that we've ended up selling properties to that had seen it in the past but had forgotten about it. And because we sent them a reverse marketing, they actually have bought and closed the property from us. So this is it's definitely an underutilized tool within LoopNet, and it costs you no more to use it.
Now, Steve, if someone wants to go beyond just the email,
yes,
and make prospecting calls. Now, Greg, I'm not sure if you are a caller or not, but if you enjoy cold calls, or well, I guess this would be more of a warm call because they've now seen it. So you could maybe wait a day or so and go ahead and call, and then you can see they've got the phone numbers.
Well, that's one of my main questions I had on the initial email. Being here in northeastern West Virginia, like I am, like I said, I'm 75 miles west of the White House.
Yep.
Okay. within 75 miles, there's 18 million people. However, I'm in West Virginia. If you go and you're starting to look for real estate, and this is true in residential, but also in commercial, you have Maryland, Delaware, D.C., and Virginia. I have 4 different areas outside of my primary market that, I'm in a Tortaria market here because I'm on the outer suburbs. How do I directly market my property besides LoopNet? I mean, if someone's going into West Virginia to look LoopNet, they'll find this listing. But how do I put the listing in front of people in downtown D.C., Northern Virginia, Maryland? That was my main question. Is there other marketing tools? Because I'm in different jurisdictions. I'm in different states.
Yes, there is. And one of the ones that I would recommend for you in your particular case is a company called Prospect Now.
Prospect Now?
Yeah, Prospect Now, and I think it's even at prospectnow.com. And that allows you to search for buyers, tenants. It actually is it features, it has features such as they gather data based on the geographical area that you choose for Prospect Now. I think you've got about a 7-day free trial that you can even try with it to check it out and see how you like it. But if you play with this site, you'll find out that you can find buyers, you can find sellers actually, you can find corporate entities, real estate investment trusts, and it keeps a very, very up-to-date database. They gather information regularly on tenants. So you can actually go on there and find out when tenants in your area actually are coming up for renewal on their lease, when they're coming out of their primary periods. And you can target those particular clients either as someone that you can find a new lease for, or quite possibly that you can use SBA and turn into an owner-user on a property. And you can search by size, you can search by location. It's an excellent prospecting tool. A couple $100 a month is what most people are going to end up paying. I think it's about $179, and you can pick 2 geographical areas, how they break it down. And then the more you add, it's obviously, it goes up, but not necessarily proportionally.
Okay. But that would be, say, because this has multiple uses. Building has mixed use, obviously, but office, a corporation, a small corporation. And I'm just trying to, how do I put it into the face of potential buyers or tenants outside of my geographical area?
So what you
because
do,
we've always been, like I said, 21 years as a realtor in this area. We've always been a bit of a black hole here in West Virginia, simply because we're in West Virginia. If you follow what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because we're in a different state, even though we're right next to, D.C., Dulles, and all that in the main tech corridor. We're outside of that. Just the next county west of it, right?
Yes. If you look at Prospect Now, this is going to be have you ever used this before?
No, sir, I've not.
It's got direct mail tools in it. You can actually import the databases that you pull down from this. You can actually import them into an Excel file into your computer so that you can use your own direct mail tools or your own CRM. And you can actually find folks that fit the parameter for what you're trying to sell. You can find growing organizations. You can even see some history of tenants and or owners that are outgrowing their buildings.
Okay.
With yours, I believe you said you had two 2,000 square foot two 12,000.
12,000. Yeah. Each building's 12,000, and they're about 9 years old, and they are in Class A condition. Only Class A office space, honestly, the only Class A in this county. I mean, I live in a county that's only got 55,000 in population. So we're a rural area. It used to be all agriculture. That's now becoming suburban, urban sprawl housing. You know what I'm trying to say here. 70% of my county commutes. Population
also that's what I was going to say. The location that you're talking about is far enough away to have a much better pricing than in DC. Because how much did you say it was? $18 a square foot triple net, or
17 triple net, or 21 full service. Yes.
So,
per square foot.
So with regard to that, what is it in DC? For a like building?
At least twice that, if not more.
And I would argue that it's probably more. You're definitely in a location that I can tell you that probably the biggest and best tool that comes to mind is Prospect Now. Now, I'll also tell you there are some free prospecting tools. Have you used a company called PropertyLine.com?
No, sir, I've not.
Okay, PropertyLine.com is part of a RealNex suite of services. They offer, several different things in there. Have you ever used a company called REI Wise to create your financial reports or your offering memorandums, that kind of thing, analysis?
No.
It's an excellent, excellent tool. RealNex and PropertyLine, if you sign up right now, I think it's about $100 a month, give or take, depending on whether you pay it annually or monthly. But with PropertyLine, you get 5 different tools, and 2 of them, one of them is PropertyLine, and the other one is REI Wise. REI Wise puts together fantastic reports. It puts together up to 20-year analysis for owner investors. Fantastic. With regard to PropertyLine, if you look what's coming up on the screen right now, if your e-marketing blast, you can actually target specific buyers in a local, state, national, or even custom audience, and you can create the database that you use from Prospect Now, or you can even you can use the database that's within PropertyLine and do a more bulk marketing. Like you could do all of DC if you wanted to with one kind of blast, and then you could do another blast for your local area, and it'll allow you to do these types of things. It's a fantastic tool to be able to get this done.
There's a lot of different options in here. Just as you got MSA 1 blast, a blast with additional MSA. So you probably want to blast to 3 or 4 you said different metropolitan areas.
Yes, or different. Yeah, like Northern Virginia, and then Maryland, and then DC. Probably 3.
Yeah. So this
three main areas I'm blasting.
Okay. So you could e-blast to agents who are in these areas that you
as well as investors.
As well as investors, yeah.
Or principals.
So, something like this may be a good option as well to get your e-flyer out there.
Yeah, pull down.
Is that like a one-time charge that you do? Is that like a one-time charge for each blast you do?
One-time charge, yeah. So if you did the one blast with one additional MSA, it'd be $126 and you're done.
Yeah. Is that emarketblast.com? Is that what it is?
No. This is PropertyLine.
It's in part of PropertyLine. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, yeah, you join it. Okay, then you can pay out for extra. I got you.
And by the way, PropertyLine is another database that's used. It's lesser known. It's been around for a long time. You can actually sign up to PropertyLine for free, and you can put your listings on it just like LoopNet, and it gives you a database. I also believe, and I'm sorry, but you said your name was Gregory, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. I also believe, Gregory, that this is a company to watch. RealNex actually came together a couple of years ago, and they bought 5 companies that are they're all basically tools for the commercial realtor. And they put them all together into one suite of services, and they are intending to rival LoopNet, and they are intending to basically fight them at their own game with regard to pricing and value. More importantly, the people who have come together for Priceline are a group of heavy hitters in the commercial real estate world, and they're very well funded. They actually paid cash for all 5 of these national and even worldwide companies. I think it would be good for you to get involved with PropertyLine right now, even if it's just on a free basis for exposure, because their marketing budget for getting this stuff out here in 2016, we're lucky to have a little bit of intimate knowledge of that. We're actually dealing with this company a little bit from the school side, and this is an up-and-comer to watch. So I would tell you, don't discount this tool. It definitely is the underdog right now. But they are well funded, and this may become a real rival of LoopNet in the near future.
Okay.
By the way, by being part of, stop right there, if you look to the left, property or the RealNex suite of services, they own all of these companies. They own BuzzTarget, PropertyLine, REI Wise, 10-8, and then also Search Properties, as well as Real Estate Apartments. And these are all part of what can come in your RealNext suite of services for a monthly reoccurring membership. One of the things that it allows you to do, if you look at the black panel on your left, you can look for properties, manage your listings, blah, 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 investment analysis, lease analysis, but the deal room. The deal room, I think it costs you another $100 a year to add the deal room as an add-on. Most of these are not add-ons, but the deal room, I believe, is an add-on unless they've already made it part of their services. But the deal room allows you to actually have a commercial property website for every deal that you do. More than that, it becomes a better CRM for you because you can set security levels on this. You can use the deal room to send not only electronic brochures, but you can and very, very sharp how these things look. They look fantastic, very professional. It also allows you to manage the transaction from listing appointment to close at different security levels. It allows you to keep all of the due diligence in one safe, secure area. I have been a fan of REI Wise since it started and since before RealNext even purchased it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful other tool to be able to do what you're talking about doing with.
Okay.
And I just noticed.
Okay. Like I said, I'm new into the commercial. I've got 4 commercial listings right now, but I was basically a residential and farm agent for 20 years, and this is, like I said, I've been loving your class. Every day has been a learning experience.
Well, I hope it's been good. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Here, go ahead.
If you'd like, Gregory, when we complete this, I can have Steve Walters send you basically we're going to use the deal room, and I'm going to send you out a link so that, pretending that you were a broker or a client who is interested in what we're going to send you, and you can get an idea of how sharp and how professional this makes you look. So when you're dealing with some of those DC tenants or buyers, you can actually put your best foot forward doing it. Because literally, this tool in Deal Room makes me look a lot smarter than I really am.
Gotcha.
And I just noticed that you're on a call as opposed to watching the screen. So this is recording, and then it'll be I'll post this video back in the training center so you can actually see where.
Yeah, I'm actually on the phone, but I'm watching my computer screen as you go through it, so I'm doing both here.
Oh, okay.
So it is coming up on your screen just fine?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm doing both. I mean, as you're talking, I'm right here watching it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Well, why don't I do this one time, and I'll ask the whole group, Gregory, you included. Is there another question that anyone has on the call that I can go ahead and answer? Gregory, is there anything further that I can answer for you?
I don't think so. I mean, you've given me 2 real prospects in addition to my LoopNet, which I was already using.
Perfect. Go ahead.
It sounds like what you may want to spend some time with in your in any of your marketing materials is explain the benefits for this area as opposed to what they would find elsewhere in DC. So maybe you need to add some copy in your brochure that says bring your business to this area where it's 60% cheaper to own here, or 60% cheaper to lease, or the cost of doing business is cheaper and it's better. It's a great environment. It's a different feel. Whatever you feel the benefits are to the property. Location.
Further, Gregory, let me just ask you this: are you listing this property for sale, for lease, or both?
Both. It will be both, because obviously getting it leased will help sell it. And just to give you an idea, it was appraised, and at the price we're looking to list it with pro forma, if all of it's leased at 17, it's at about a 12% cap rate.
Wow, that's fantastic. Let me ask.
Each building's going to be listed about 1.6 with the rent. If we get $17 triple net on it, then you're looking at right at a 12% cap rate on it.
That's the kind of pro forma that gets investors' attention. You've gotten my attention. I'd like to learn a little more about it myself, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, see, and that's why I need to get that out there on a website, like I said, RealNext or Prospect.com, ProspectNow.com, where people, if they're looking at it, if a buyer of a major corporation or a small corporation, a CCIM in DC, it's been hired to, hey, go find us some office space.
Yep.
Look it up and find it, and then the phone's going to call, hopefully ring towards me. You know what I'm trying to say here.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. I know it's built out beautifully. It's in Class A space. Is your owner willing to get the right tenant to invest tenant improvement dollars to customize a suite to what they would want to see with a long-term lease?
Absolutely. Yeah, he has on-site people that will move the walls and do whatever that needs to be done to customize to any particular tenant.
Okay, and one thing,
Absolutely.
Hopefully you've been through the retail course. If not, definitely go through that, because this is a value add piece that you're doing. So
just finished it today.
Excellent.
We got 40 inches of snow last week. We got 40 inches of snow last Saturday, and I've been on your online all week, having time to actually sit down and do the course.
You got that whole side of the country has been belted with snow and weather.
Well, we were the bullseye out here in the northern end of the Shenandoah. I mean, we got the 40 inches. We got the more than anybody.
Oh man!
And yeah, it's been shut down here since Friday. Really, I mean, I'm back in my office today for the first time since Friday.
Well, you know as well as I
only live a mile from my office. So I'll tell you how bad it is.
So when you say you have to walk to work uphill both ways in the snow, you mean it?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. But actually, it has been so deep. 40 inches, 3.5. It's above your waist. You can't walk in this snow.
Yeah, you need.
It is so bad you can't. Yeah, you can't walk in 40 inches. It's just, and it's the most that we've ever gotten in one storm since in the 21 years I've lived here.
Wow.
But needless to say, our real estate's been shut down this week, to say the least.
I have to say, I'm very optimistic for you on this listing. It sounds like you've got a reasonable owner. And, of course, the more build out you also ask for a higher rent, because that turns into a cap rate conversion and a value for your client when they sell this building.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I have a seller that has money too.
That's
that's the thing.
Well,
I have a seller that has the money.
Getting them to let go of it, it sounds like your seller has been educated enough to know that if they put in the dollars, they get them back.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Well, these two buildings are part of a bigger complex that they own and manage there with warehouse as well as strip malls, retail, as well as our building that's got our state DMV in it. And the entire complex is valued at about $11.6 million. These two buildings are being sold separately, as well as a 3.7 acre vacant land. But the buildings will be about $3 million of that, and the land will be probably another $500,000 of that 11.6 total value.
Does that land have any approved or partial plans that are done for future development on it?
Well, just that we're talking right now with our county planning commission on can we subdivide it into smaller lots. It does have water, sewerage, and all the utilities to it, of course, and roads. I mean, so it's ready to be developed.
Could I ask you?
Can we subdivide it? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
In this forum, I hope it's appropriate. I have investors, and I close all over the country. I would love to see a package on this from an investor standpoint. When you get it up and complete, I would actually like to see that.
Okay, I can just send it to the Straight Academy, to Straight Talk Academy.
No, I'm going to give you my direct email, and you're more than welcome to take it down. I'm going to give you the BAT email, the one that everything really filters to anyway. It is S as in Sam, HARPER 0269 @gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, I have a very intelligent and older client here, and like he said before he listened, so what can you do for me in D.C.? That's basically and that's what got shot at me last week, and I was taking your course. It's like, okay, I need help on this.
Okay.
Because I haven't gotten to your marketing part yet, and that's why I sent out the email that I did.
I think that's great. Definitely start pursuing those. Definitely go through the marketing training. And Gregory, if you have some key questions or you run into a snag along the way, I'd like to see you secure this listing. I would love to hear how it goes and be updated on your success that I believe you're going to have. I would also invite you to shoot myself or Steve Walters an email. If you run into a snag along the way, I would be more than happy to see what I can do. I may or may not always have the answer, but generally when I don't have the answer, I know who to ask to get it, and I would be happy to do that for you.
And I'm going to probably be doing that. I mean, this has been real enlightening today, and your class has been, and I'm just glad to, to be able to shoot emails and get on the line and do a webinar if I need to get some answers, because this has been very educational to me. And just like I've been building my residential business for 20 years, it's going to take me, I know, several years to build my commercial business. Here we don't have any, there is no CCIMs out here, because if you're just strictly a commercial agent in this area, you've tended to starve.
Right. Well, yeah, and there's a lot of parts of our country that are like that. I mean, bottom line is
we have most commercial we have is a mixed use. Power malls, yeah, we have a few, but we are definitely a tertiary market, rural area. And most of your office space can be converted into retail and vice versa. It was interesting dating the retail, the strip malls. We've just started getting strip malls in this county in the last 5 years. Believe it or not.
I call it ResCom agents, but quite frankly, I grew up right, in a small town in Arkansas, right on the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma, and I have to tell you that every agent had to be a generalist. Every agent had to do everything, or they would starve to death. That's just how it was.
Right. Yeah.
So
I've sold big farms, 500-acre farms that's at $4,000 an acre. I've done that.
Yep.
Well, that's not commercial. That's farmland.
That's farmland.
That's a completely different. Yeah, it's completely different pricing that you're dealing with. And
That's
like this 3.7 acres commercial. I mean, in the retail on vacant land, they say, okay, use comparables. Well, go in and do our comparables. Our comparables are all over the place. I mean, it's almost useless to use comparables. Like say you got 3.7 acres of commercial land. Well, how do you put a value on it?
Right.
Because the comps are almost useless.
I know.
Yeah, and we've had clients out here and just say, well, we'll just put a price out there and we'll see. Well, it's kind of like they're jumping off of a diving board into a dark area and they don't know what they're jumping into, quite honestly.
Do you have a good, specifically commercial appraiser that you have a relationship with?
No, I don't. I do have the appraisal on this property, and that's one. Again, I'm dealing with a client that's very educated. He's already had the property appraised.
Excellent.
So that's given me at least a ballpark to start with.
Okay, and do you have any good lease comps either for this building or any other buildings in the area, or do you know?
Well, he's above our market here. Our market right now is probably $10 to $12, and he's at 17 triple net.
Okay.
In the markets, but it is superior office space compared to what else you'll find.
Okay.
A lot of our buildings in this county, believe it or not, are 200 years old because it goes back to the Revolutionary War.
Oh, I know. I love your part of the country. My wife and
Charlestown. Yeah, Charlestown's named for Charles Washington. There's still 9 Washington family properties in this county. I mean, George Washington did all the original surveying in this county. So, I mean, it's a very historical, very old, Civil War, Revolutionary War. And a lot of our commercial buildings are too. And yes, they're full of asbestos and lead. Absolutely.
Well,
that's what we have.
So can I be so bold as to say the next time my wife and I go out and do DC, can we come out and see you and maybe take you to dinner?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Actually, here in Jefferson County, I'm only 40 miles west of Dulles International Airport, which is still closed today, by the way. So that's what I'm saying. We are on the outskirts of a major metroplex that within, like I said, 2 hours where I'm at is 18 million people. It's one of the biggest metroplexes in the entire country.
Yes, it is.
And it's not downtown Baltimore and downtown D.C. where the real population is. It's southeastern Maryland, it's central Maryland, it's northern Virginia, Fairfax and Loudoun County, Virginia. I mean, we're talking, an area that's bigger than Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a history buff, and when you start talking about stuff like that, you definitely grab my attention. But I will say that
we got it here.
Homework that I think will help you. I would.
Yeah,
like
I mean, 10, well, and that was the name of the building is Washington is one and Jefferson's the other. That's the name of these two buildings. That's what my client named it Washington and Jefferson. But that's just again going to the area here. And but that's what I'm trying to find is a tenant / investor, owner, or seller, buyer that can say, oh, we can do business in the Shenandoah Valley for half or a third of what we will do in Northern Virginia or downtown D.C. And that was my whole crux of my question was how do I take a nice property, and let those folks know that I have it.
Well, I think the tools we've mentioned so far will be helpful, but there is one more piece of homework that I think will be invaluable to you, and it's going to take a little bit of time to build, a couple of months. But what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to find commercial appraisers in your area. If you have to, use Google and find them. And then I want you to call those commercial appraisers directly, and I want you to tell them, I just wanted to introduce myself to you. I'm doing commercial real estate in this area. I like getting relationships with appraisers, and I wanted to offer my services that in the event you find yourself in need of lease comps, call me. I will do what I can to find what you need. Now, I will tell you, I have personal relationships with appraisers all over the country, and they all echo the same thing to me. When they are dealing even with a real deal that they're trying to appraise to get it closed for somebody, they cannot get brokers to call them back. And the number one thing that they're looking for from brokers, even from the brokers that will benefit from the transaction, won't call them back. They just won't do it. And I don't understand this, but it's an opportunity, because an appraiser can be invaluable to you when you need them. If you offer to go out and do a little legwork for them and help them find lease comps from someone that you might have coffee with, from someone you might be in a networking group with, when you can do that and you actually will take an appraiser's phone call, then when you get into a situation like this where you don't know the value of the land, I can tell you there are many parts of the country I can pick up the phone and call an appraiser, and they give me a price per square foot for that land, or their best guess, even if there's limited information available for it. They will go through that hassle for me, and they'll do it for nothing, because I'm available to them for lease comps, or for anything, but truly lease comps is what they always get stuck with. They cannot get brokers to return their calls for lease comps. And if they have someone who says to them, I will be your guy for lease comps, and if I can't find it, if I don't have them, I'll do my best to go find them for you, you will become their best friend. That's what will happen. And I got to tell you, in addition to what we've already talked about, I think that will be an invaluable resource for you.
Well, let me ask, if I could ask another question. It's kind of related. In leasing of commercial property, what is the standard commission? Residential always took 1 month's rent or 10%. Is there a certain of the rents? Is there a certain commission that I know that can be is a variable? Is there what is? I hate to use the word standard, but what is more kind of an operating number on that?
It depends on the market. It depends on whether it's a bull or a bear market and whether they have to pay more. In a market where there's plenty of tenants and they don't have to work as hard, it might be a 4 or 5% commission over the term of the lease that's paid, and usually it's paid upon commencement, or it's paid 50% upon signing of the lease and the other 50% upon the tenant taking occupancy of the building.
Right.
And it's for the total period. You can, it's depending, again, bull or bear market, whether or not you can add some commissions in there for any renewals or tenant options that they might have. I would certainly try and add that in there if you can, and have a direct conversation with your principal. But again, you don't want to just be someone that collects a commission when they renew and never ever talk to them in the meantime. If you're assisting them, if you're taking care of your clients' needs, they have no problem paying the commission. But generally speaking, I would tell you it's about 6 to 8, maybe 10%. It's usually co-opt somewhere around 50-50 with any procuring or lease agent that brings a tenant.
Correct.
One thing that they do like to see, and that landlords really kind of enjoy, and I think it's another underutilized tool, is a dual variable commission. In other words, you offer them and you say, look, I'm going to list this. I'm going to be your leasing agent. I'm going to do 4% and 4%. I'm going to do an 8% deal. And in the event that someone else, brings in the tenant and we get the deal finalized, then I'm going to split it 50-50 with them. Now, in the event that I find the tenant and I double-end it, I represent both the tenant and the landlord, I'm going to reduce that from 8% to 6% for the term. You've made out better, and they feel like they won because they've been able to save a few bucks. And it kind of
Right.
it kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage when you're talking to tenants. And that's called the dual variable commission. I don't know of any state. I have closed properties in almost 40 states at this point. I'm up to almost 40. I have found no states that do not allow a dual variable commission. Now, I haven't done West Virginia, but I have done Maryland. I have done properties in Maryland. And
It's legal
Maryland,
here.
there was no problem with a dual variable commission.
Yeah, it's legal here because I do it on all my standard residentials. I have a variable rate on. Yeah, I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, well, it gives
It's how I end up.
It gives you.
Yeah, well, it's how I get 6% when a lot of people only list at 5.
That's
Because if I sell it myself, I reduce it to 4.5 if I sell it myself. I mean, I've been offering that to my clients for years.
Beautiful. Same thing, and I'll tell you, Gregory, this is the next best thing I can tell you. You are a successful realtor. You have done it for 21 years. So let me just tell you that the things that you have found in residential real estate that work, I would venture to guess that they will also work in commercial real estate because they're truly the same people that you're dealing with. It may not be something that you're used to seeing or that the market's used to seeing, but those are the kind of things that are going to set you off. And specifically, if you can utilize some of the technological tools that we have as residential professionals in the commercial genre, man, it's going to make you stand out because commercial real estate absolutely has a, they're a little bit slow in adopting technology.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I'm using 73 websites in residential, but none of them allow me to do anything commercial on them.
Exactly.
That's what I've been running up against. Yeah.
Greg, I look forward from hearing from you. I look forward to getting updates on how this listing goes. I would like to follow it if you wouldn't mind keeping me in the loop. I'd like to hear about your success. I think we've got time for one more question, and I think Steve's got another question that's been asked from someone that I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So Yogi asks, do you know a property management company that will cooperate with us in the foothills? And he's local, so I believe he's in the Grass Valley area.
Okay.
And is there seller disclosures that will advise them to consult tax advisors, etc., real estate tax issues?
Okay, let me just make sure I understand that. And Yogi, if you're on the phone, I would like to ask if you are, because if so, I might like to ask some follow-up questions on this. Yogi, are you on the call? Hello, Yogi, are you on the call or can you hear me?
Looks like he's muted.
I think he's on the call, but it looks like you're muted. We'll leave your mic open on our side. If you are able to chime in, that's great. If you're multitasking, no worries. I'm going to handle this question the best way I know how. Now, when you ask, do I know of a property management company that will cooperate, do you mean cooperate in paying you some kind of referral or split fee with regard to the property? Is that what we mean?
Yogi's on the call now.
Hi, Yogi. Did you hear the question? Hello, Yogi. Are you still there?
It looks like it dropped off for a second.
It dropped off for
a second. There he is.
There he is. Yogi, when you're asking about co-op, are you talking about sharing of fees and that kind of thing?
Mostly just looking for somebody that will either maybe small fees, but more or less that they won't try to take, some property management companies.
Beautiful.
Might have
yes, that's what I thought you were talking about. And I will tell you, be cautious about taking any kickbacks on property management fees. It's not regulated. It's something you're absolutely allowed to do in commercial real estate. But be cautious because if you ever end up in a sticky problem, attorneys are excellent about bringing that up, any compensation you've received for directing someone to a property management company, and using it to nail you to the wall. It's generally not worth the fees. It's generally far more important, which is the second part of your question, to make sure that they are never going to try and take that client from you, or quite frankly have things in their contracts that say they get a commission in the event that these things ever sell. Yes, I do know of a property management company that works in the foothills that will never take a client from you. They are only property management. They do not broker. And I will tell you, in our area, Yogi, there are more property management companies that I will not talk about than I will talk about. Most of them I have very little to no respect for. But I do know of one. Is this for multifamily, retail, office? What is the type?
Right now, multifamily.
Perfect.
One of my agents
I have an excellent referral for you for the foothills. I am going to have Steve Walters reply to your email concluding this phone call with their contact information. And I will tell you, this company actually only came to me about 6 months ago, and they basically came into 2 different listings that we had that were quite frankly on fire when it comes to property management. They were mismanaged. They had all sorts of trouble. They had, the managers were putting them in and putting in unqualified tenants that they knew they were going to have to evict in 2 or 3 months, and just really taking advantage of the owners. And we were able to secure this relationship about 6 months ago. And I got to tell you, I don't have a long-term relationship with this company, but what they have done for me in the last 6 months has been nothing short of a miracle.
Okay, that'd be perfect. Yeah, that's what we're looking for, because
well,
I do a lot more multifamily. You just really want something that's professional.
Perfect. And anything else that we can help you with, Yogi, don't hesitate to shoot us an email, come to the office hours, send us questions.
Well, looks like we've got kind of a follow-up here, Steve.
Oh, follow-up. Go ahead.
Seller disclosures that will advise them to consult tax advisors. So
yeah,
we're not a legal financial tax advisor.
Yogi, are you a realtor?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. So yes, if you're a realtor, there are forms in Zip Forms that will actually cover that. If you don't find what you need, I have some excellent language that I've had drafted, approved by my attorney, that I will send to you in Microsoft Word format. All I ask is, if you are not the broker, manager, or decision maker, before you use the terminology I give you, make sure you run it past your broker of record or office manager and get their approval.
I am the broker of the office.
Then perfect. I will send you what I've got. It has been vetted not only by 1 but 2 local attorneys that have vetted the language I use.
That would be great. Yeah, because we couldn't find anything in Zip Forms that really worked.
No worries. I've got just what you need.
Okay, appreciate that.
Perfect.
Look forward to that. So.
Thanks. I'll get that to you today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time on that. So. Absolutely.
Conclude.
All right. Looks like that's all the questions that we've got. If something comes up in the meantime, you can still shoot it over to questions at Straight Talk Academy, and we'll do our best to answer. So with that being said, thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Steve, for also attending.
Steve, thank you for moderating this thing.
Absolutely. All right, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for the next one. And also check back on the in the training center in case you want a replay of this. We are recording them, and they're going into. You just go to training.straighttalkacademy.com, and then the tab at the top is Office Hours. You'll see the links for the past events, as well as when the next one is going to be. So. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.